This is the Between Brothers podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Lando, also known as the Duke of Debonairness, also known as Lando Stradamus. And I have my big brother, the man, the legend, the miracle, Zero, the chance of charisma in the building. What's going on, Zero?
Not much. Just another day. Another day, another Jaguars loss. That's all it is.
Yeah, so how was your week?
It was all right. Yeah, Friday got let go from my job, but I got an interview on Monday, so it's like it isn't any super major it isn't like a super major weight, especially since I got some I got some good references for me to be able to get back into the workforce immediately. Um, well, other than that is like and I know they were trying to. They looked at me like I think they looked at me as if I was going to like get angry or something. I was like, no. I was like, I understand. I'm not gonna sit here and snap and then flip over the coffee table or anything of that nature. It's like that doesn't change the decision. So I was like, hey, it was like you had to do what you had to do, and I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. There's nothing for me to get upset about. It was like there was in the room. It was like they were super stressed out, and I was like, all right. It's like great working with you, but I'm out. And yeah, besides watching my today watching my team who the only time we didn't lead was when we lost the game. Like, it is what it is. It's like, it's yeah, but other than that, nothing else to report for real. Besides, what we're gonna talk about later. Or what we're gonna talk about today. Other than that, everything else has been what it was.
Yeah, so my week has been pretty average overall for the most part. Uh Running off of about 3 hours of sleep today because I had to stay up for history to be made, which we'll get into it here in a second. Um yeah, man, we just been and appreciate everybody who's been, or at least who's looked at or liked the YouTube and the Instagram and the TikToks. Been ramping up a lot more stuff this week, and appreciate everybody who watched or listened to Lando Sports Discussion. Oh, actually, it's only watched. It's only on YouTube. So watch Lando Sports Discussions and saw that. So, if anybody who is listening to this is not subscribed to the Aster Media YouTube page, please go check it out. We have the video podcast on there if you prefer to watch it on video, as well as the Lando Sports Discussions on there as well. And we'll be bringing other forms of content on there as well in the near future. But yeah, man, I didn't watch any football, so I don't have any takes on the NFL today. Didn't watch any football. We was out with the Duchess, and we was playing family games today. And we played a Disney trivia game in which I won. We played last weekend. Cocoa Puff won that one. So, so yeah, man, it's been a good week so far. But yeah, so for anybody who has listened to this podcast, who has been a Facebook friend of mine or has watched the recent Lando sports discussion, I been telling y'all about a guy named Terrence Crawford. And the beauty of it is I like being right. Now, am I right all the time? No. But I enjoy being right. A few years back, about 2.5 years ago, people made this fight, Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. I said on this podcast, Errol Spence beat your Dennis Ugas. And everybody's like, because of how he won the fight, Bud's going to beat or Bud's going to lose. And I said on this podcast on that day, this how Errol Spence won this fight makes me 100% sure Bud is going to beat him. I posted on my Facebook exactly how Terrence Crawford was going to win the fight. And even the exact punch he was going to do to stop him. Predicted the exact round. I was actually wrong on the punch. The punch that he stopped him with, the punch that he dropped him with, the second time he dropped him was the punch I said he was going to stop him with. So people telling me, you don't know anything about boxing, this and the other, Spencer's going to kill him, end up being right. This fight came around, Canelo's too big, Canelo too strong, Bud hasn't fought nobody. That's what the Mexican fans were saying. Who has Bud fought? And I was like, I've never seen anybody's resume win them a fight. They've never said resumes make fights. They say styles make fights. Stylistically, Canelo does not match up well with people like Crawford. He goes in there. I watch the fight. I gave Canelo 2 rounds. And in all honesty, the second round that I gave him was a real gift. It was just that it was like, oh, he actually looked like he had some life for that round. I just gave it to him, not necessarily that he beat Bud in the round per se. It was a close round. I'm like, okay, since he did better, I'll give him a round. Now, the judges' scorecards, egregious. That fight was nowhere near that close. I don't know anybody who watched that fight who thought that fight was that close, except one guy, and he's an MMA commentator as well as boxing. I don't know what he's more of. He's a white guy though. I don't know his name, but I've seen his stuff. And it's not that he don't know boxing, but he was like, "Oh, this is a really close fight. This is and the other," and I'm like, "I don't know what you were watching." Like the judges seem to have given Canelo every round that he did something in. So generally speaking, rounds are scored in 4 points or in 4 ways: ring generalship, clean and effective punching, defense, and effective aggression. Canelo did not display that in any round except the 5th round. Yet he somehow won 5 rounds. He did not control the real estate of the ring. That's ring generalship. He didn't keep Bud on the ropes like he wanted to. That's ring generalship. Defense, he didn't land very many shots. Effective aggression, there was times he was coming forward and not hitting Bud. Bud was pushing him around the ring at times when they got into the clinch. Every time that Bud wanted to fight on the inside, Bud got the better of the exchanges. I don't know how you find 5 rounds for that guy. And there was another judge, a fourth judge, who scored the draw. Yeah, they have three judges and they have a fourth judge. They're not like an official judge, but they have a fourth judge. I forget what his role is. It's like if I think if something happens to another judge or um I forget what the fourth judge's job is. Um I think he's also the one who when somebody gets knocked down, he gives the count. He gives the count to the ref because they have to make sure the guy goes into a neutral corner and stuff. So, but regardless, I watched that entire fight with glee because I've also said on this podcast, Canelo was one of the three athletes I hate the most. Ryan Garcia turned into that when he started being racist, which we'll get into a racist here later on today. But it's one of those things where I love doing what we do every week. And that's giving analysis, knowing what we know, knowing what we don't know, and making educated guesses and being right or being wrong. And that's what I love about what we have done on this platform. And Bud put on a display of excellence that very few boxers have been able to do in their careers. I don't know where this puts him on an all-time great list because, in all honesty, I'm not a boxing historian like I am an NBA historian. But in my lifetime, he's the second best boxer I've ever seen do it. I was a little late for Roy Jones. The Roy Jones that I remember was the one that lost to Tarver. Um, so I don't know that Roy Jones or the elite Roy Jones that was beating everybody. Um, so yeah, that's we'll get into a little bit more into the fight, but Zero, you were able to see the fight. What did you think about the main event?
Um, yeah, I only gave Canelo the fifth. I really didn't see. I really didn't see where you can give Canelo as many rounds as they did on the scorecards. Like, there's no way. Even the guy who was doing the unofficial
Yeah, I think he gave him
score,
3 rounds.
yeah, it was like, where, like, where do you, where did, what did you see for him to get more than just that one round? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And then as you see the fight start to go on, like you see Canelo like a couple of times in the late rounds. I remember it was like the 10th, 11th. I think the 10th, 11th, and 12th round. I think all three of those rounds. At some point, this dude really like dropped his hands and looked like he was just ready, just be done with the fight. It was like what are we doing? It was like if I don't know if that was supposed to be some psychological stuff, like try to bait Crawford into doing something, yeah, try to bait him into like getting overly aggressive because you dropped your hands and try to. I don't know what I don't know what it was, but the fact that in the middle of the fight that you got that frustrated and you saw, I forgot what round it was. I think it was the very first time they clinched and Canelo lifted him up.
He always does that when he's frustrated.
It was
Um,
like it was
but
yeah,
somehow, you think a guy who thinks he's winning the fight is going to be that frustrated to do that, or like that, like the fight's even competitive at that point. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, why would he be so frustrated if he thought that he was in the fight?
but one thing that I kept on getting frustrated about with listening to the commentary was that they were just it felt like they were just continuously anticipating that what's his name?
Talk to
That
him.
Canelo was
Talk to
going
him.
yeah, that Canelo was just going to hit him hard. It was like,
Hmm.
how is he going to take his power? How is he gonna
Max
do this? How is he
Kellerman was hoping for that. It sounded like.
yo, that's what it was like, yo, like
Because the other
is he
guy
going to
wasn't really
take
saying much. It was Kellerman and Ward that were doing most of the talking. And Kellerman was like, what's going to, like you just said, go ahead.
yeah, it's like, is he gonna take his power? Is he going to do like when is it going to happen? They're just anticipating when it was going to happen. And then he takes one shot and he starts smiling. And it was like it was like
You know how much fear I would have in my spirit if someone took my best shot and smiled at me. Like, like it's like you remember in like Dragon Ball Z's always been famous for this, where they just punch him in the face and then they just like look at him and start pushing their fist back with their face. That's the kind of energy that is.
he started smiling. He was like, and it was like, I don't get what in the world they were doing, but it didn't make any sort of sense. It like, why is it that they kept on trying to push it and push it and push it and push it? That yo, at some point, Canelo's going to turn it on, and Crawford's going to be backing up, and Crawford's going to have to feel his power. He probably won't be able to take his power because he's too big, he's too strong, he's not used to fighting at this weight. Like
Hmm.
it gets on my nerves, honestly.
Yeah. So with that, and that's why I was like, Bud, I literally said this, and if y'all want to go back and listen or watch on our YouTube channel, Lando Sports Discussions, um, or it's on the Astro Media YouTube. I literally said if Bud remains defensively responsible, I see this fight where he wins 118, 110, 117, 111. He's going to cruise to victory. I literally said the first 3 rounds are going to go to Bud. They did. I said, um, Canelo's going to try to come on strong and is going to gas him out, which he didn't come on strong until the 5th round. But Bud didn't really. The only reason why I didn't give Bud that rounds because Bud didn't do anything. It wasn't that Canelo did anything. You see what I'm saying? It was just more so Bud didn't do anything. And then I was like, and because of how he punches and he doesn't do anything off the jab, he doesn't fight off the jab, like he's gonna gas himself out. And by the 6th, 7th round, he's gonna be cooked, and Bud's gonna pot shot him and beat him up for the rest of the fight. And that's exactly what happened.
Because look at as soon as they got into the inside, when they were in the middle of the ring fighting each other on the inside, Canelo couldn't do nothing.
Couldn't do nothing. Now, and again, Canelo landed some good punches throughout the fight, but most of his best punches they were partially blocked, so it didn't have the same steam that they probably should have had.
Mm.
Um, but I'm like, Canelo didn't land any real combinations. So how are you giving? Like generally speaking, when guys land combinations versus one shot at a time, the guy who lands more combinations catches the judge's eyes, in which they usually give that guy the round. I can only remember one combination that Bud caught combo, like multiple punches, and it was an uppercut. It was or what they call what the boxers would call a 5-2. Like it was a lead uppercut, right hand over the top. That's it. That was it. So it's just like, so you gave him. that round because he landed that one combination when Bud landed 4 or 5 combinations in that same round? It doesn't make sense. So the master class that Bud put on, there was a point I thought he was gonna Roberto Duran that thing and just be like, I'm not fighting no more.
Yo, but my favorite part of the fight is when Crawford hit him with that left hook, and he looked at
And he
him
and he,
like,
and he hit and he hit him with the Vince Vaughn from Dodgeball.
He was like,
Bruh.
he was
Bruh.
like, yeah, but
Touche. Hit him with that touche.
yeah, but I didn't get, but it wasn't until today. Well,
Oh man.
yeah, it wasn't until like later this afternoon that I actually watched some of the press conference. Um,
Yeah, I couldn't watch. I tried to watch it live. That's why I stayed up so late because I tried to watch the live press conference, but the YouTube page that I normally go that shows it, if for some reason they didn't do a live stream, so I don't know what that was about. But yeah, I stayed up till 3:44 looking for it.
yeah,
We got to get into that.
yeah. So it was two. No, so it was three questions that I had saw because so one they asked him about
Who's him? Who are you talking
Crawford. I only got to
about?
see Crawford. I only saw the three questions that they asked Crawford. Well, the clip that I saw, I think it was about like maybe 5 minutes. So they asked Crawford about his legacy versus, I guess it was, I believe it was his legacy versus Mayweather's, and he said Mayweather was Mayweather was the greatest in his era, and I'm the greatest in my era. And
Yeah,
there's no reason for you to compare him to me or me to him. Like it is
yeah,
like that's what it is. He had his time, I got my time. Let's
yeah.
not do this. Then
For the record, Mayweather's better. But anyways.
then it was then they said, are you thinking are you going to was he thinking about defending his belts at 168? And he said that he had to talk to his team first because yeah,
I
he
hate
was
when people do that. All these people, they're like kind of like, all right, what's next? Like, bro, I just got out of the ring.
yeah,
I'm not even thinking about that. But they ask it every single fight, no matter what.
like even when Max asked him in the ring, is are you going to retire? It's like, is this your final fight? Are you gonna retire after this? It's like, yo, can I enjoy my win before I start answering these questions? But then they asked him, are you going to move down and fight Ennis at 154? And he said no. He is not going back down to 154 because I know Boots in July.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, he said Boots moved up to 154. His first his first fight at 154 is in October. I think his fight is due in Lima, I believe. But he was like, "Are you gonna drop down to 154 to fight Boots?" And he said no. He was not going back down. And when I think but I saw something as well on social media, well on YouTube. There was Tim Bradley was saying that he knew the secret to why Crawford was going to win, but this was before the fight happened. He said he wasn't going to reveal it. Somebody in the comments had said, "I don't think anybody understands that Crawford is able to carry is able to fight at 168 because when he's in his off season, he walks around at 175."
When I stop right there, that
Hmm.
is somebody who doesn't know anything about boxing.
Yeah, I figured. Just because I walk around at that weight doesn't mean I'm fighting at that weight. There's a difference. It's like
Not
I
like
weigh
all these guys. Like, all right, why did Charlo struggle? Charlo walks around at 180, 185. Why did Charlo struggle against Canelo? You know, so it's not about the walking around weight. It's about being able to take the punches at the weight
Mhm.
and being able to carry your power up enough to, you don't have to be a knockout guy, but you got to be able to be respected. Your power has to be respectable when you move up.
So
Because the
you ain't
guys
got
think you
nobody.
can just walk through your punches, they're going
Exactly.
to walk through your punches to get to you. And so that's the thing that, like, okay, just because he had to lose less weight doesn't mean that he was going to perform well because, there's in every sport, they say, you could be in shape all year. Let's say football. You
Mhm.
can be in shape all year, abs, ripped up, you in the gym. Then there's football shape.
Yep.
And some guys, their football shape might be that they pick up a little weight. Some guys might be that they slim down a little bit so they can be at their peak performing weight at all times and things of that nature. Because I'm
Yeah,
even remember,
because you're not when you're walking around in the off season, you're not doing all this other nonsense with yeah, you're not doing any sports related activities
yeah,
all year round, so it's understandable.
exactly. So it's just one of those, like, that guy, him walking around at 175 doesn't mean that he could fight at 168. You're not gonna move the same at different weights and things of that nature. The thing about Bud on why he was able to pick up the weight and carry the weight and be able to fight at the weight is because he hadn't fought in a year. Like, that's where people, like, he was able to pick up the weight, build muscle specifically with the weight slowly and on his own time versus having to pick up the weight within 3 or 4 months, which, that was one of the things I was concerned about was, okay, as he brings his weight up, is he going to be able to, you know, pick up the weight. But then when people started pointing out, Bud hasn't fought in a year, Bud hasn't fought in a year, that thought started going out of my mind because I'm like, Bud is a guy who don't smoke, don't drink, don't do none of that. So he's somebody who's going to be acclimating himself to the weight. And there's people who are like, one guy I watched, he was like, he said that he spars guys that are real big and, but sparring is different from a fight. But I'm like, yeah, but he's also sparring year round virtually. So
Yeah, there's
yeah,
some
he's
guys that
getting
just
there.
take a break, and there's some guys that just train year round to keep themselves.
Exactly. So I'm like, Floyd Mayweather was somebody who trained. Now, not only Floyd Mayweather was somebody who trained year round, he also kept his weight down year round. Like, so he was extreme. Like, as disciplined as Bud was or is, Floyd was extremely disciplined when it came to that stuff, and even Manny Pacquiao too. I do want to mention him as well. So like, I just don't understand why somebody would say that because it's just like I said, like, if, like, personally speaking, like, I could play basketball right now. I could play basketball right now, but as far as like where I would be comfortable playing basketball, I would want to lose another 20 pounds. Just to be comfortable playing basketball and to be able to run up and down the court and things of that nature. So it's just like, yeah, just because I walk around at a certain way doesn't mean that if I'm like, yo, I want to get into basketball shape, I gotta slim down to be in
Yeah.
basketball shape. So same thing with boxing. So it's like, yeah, no, just because you're not carrying as much weight when you slim down.
Mhm.
So, you know what I'm saying? And look at guys like Anthony Joshua. Like Anthony Joshua, he started cutting down in weight because he was running out of gas when he was going into the ring at 250, 260 pounds of all muscle. It's just like, yeah, no, and he was a heavyweight. He don't have a weight limit. He can come in a fat slob like some of these heavyweights do, you know, but he never did that. So, it's just one of those things where, I like that a lot of people have opinions and things of that nature, but it's just like, understand, I want people to understand something when it came to this fight, pre-fight, and then I want to get into some of the other stuff surrounding the fight. Some of the stuff pre-fight that I noticed. I was like, I saw the odds. They opened up. Canelo was a 2-1 favorite. It was minus 205 to be exact. So I didn't have much money in my FanDuel account, but I put it all on Bud. And so, matter of fact, that line made me extremely comfortable putting it all on Bud. Why? All right, I just need y'all to listen to this. There's a guy who's moving up essentially 3 divisions to fight the face of boxing. So he's automatically favored just because he's the face of boxing. All right. That gives him minus 110 as it is, 120 as it is. Just being the face. He's the smaller guy moving up. So that gives him a bigger advantage. He's fighting at his comfortable weight. It wasn't like this was a catch weight like Bernard Hopkins versus Oscar De La Hoya. He's fighting at his comfortable weight in the city in which he's been gifted many a decision, where he's known as a big puncher, and he wouldn't take the fight unless he got $150 million. And it was 2-1. How are you only favored 2-1 against a guy who's moving up 3 divisions?
A guy with all the disadvantages.
Every disadvantage. Also, he's the younger guy. Now, people talk about, oh, well, he's been through some wars. Outside of Triple G, what war did Canelo? Like, I want y'all to tell me who are boxing fans. Outside of Triple G, the first 2 Triple G fights, what wars has Canelo been in? He's been beat up, but Canelo's only been really beat up twice.
Mm-hmm.
That was last night and against Bivol. Did Floyd Mayweather touch him up? Yeah, but Floyd Mayweather's not as hard of a puncher as those other 2 guys are.
Yeah, that was a boxing lesson.
Exactly. So, as far as where his losses, but I'm like, wars, yes. The Triple G fight, both the first 2 Triple G fights, those were wars. Outside of that, nah. He's not, he hasn't really been somebody who's taken a lot of punishment. So he's a younger fighter. He's a more experienced fighter. He got all the money. He got all the glory. He got the fans behind him. Everything is in his favor. And Vegas is like, yeah, we can't because we're going to lose money on Bud. So we can't lose that much money. So we're going to make him the favorite, get the stupid, idiotic fans, the Mexican fans who only care about nationality and race versus actual boxing skill. We're going to take all their money to hedge this. And then what that also told me, if Bud was at 160 moving up a weight division, one weight class, he'd be 4-1, 5-1. It'd be like Mayweather Pacquiao. I think that was 4-1 for Mayweather. Like, what are we talking about? If that was Canelo moving up to Bud, if that was Canelo moving up to Bud, it would be Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas type of spread.
Mm-hmm.
That one girl, Amanda Nunez, she was like 301 odds or something like that. It was something crazy. or 30 to 1 odds. I forget. I forget what it was. It was crazy. Her
Is
first
that
time she
is
her
it
first time she
300 to
lost.
one?
No,
Jeez.
I think 50 to 1 is the biggest that somebody could beat. But she was 30 to 1 odds the first time she lost. She was favored that heavily. And I'm like, so I'm like, okay, like that's a tell there. That's a tell there. And maybe I just know that because I've been betting for the last couple of years. But I'm like, that's a tell. Vegas needs Canelo money. Vegas needs as much Canelo money as they're going to get because they know that they're going to lose. So I'm like, yeah, no, that just didn't make sense to me. So I was like, I have a few dollars in here, just put it all on Bud. Easiest money I've ever made. I'm like, the event. Dana White, I don't need him to put together another boxing event ever again for the rest of my natural life. First of all, I'm gonna try to keep this at 3 points. It might be four. These are three biggest things that was wrong with that show. First of all, why am I up at 2:40 in the morning and the fight's just ending? 2:40 a.m. Why am I up this late? Why? Or no, it might not even been that late. What time did you text me? I'm not. No, I stayed because I gotta remember I did stay up for the sake of trying to find out.
Yeah, it was like, don't get me lying. I don't remember.
1:40. 1:40. Why am I up at 1:40 watching the fight? And I remember this is why I stopped watching UFC because I tried to get into it. Excuse me. I went to a fight with my boy, rest in peace to Stephen Campo. And we was in that place and we're waiting for the main event. I said, why am I watching 5 undercard fights? Before, like in boxing is like 3, 2, depending. I'm like, yo, this. So third fight go by, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get to the main event. They're like, dumb. I don't remember what fight it was. I'm like, that ain't the main event, niggas. And then the next fight comes on. So I was told my boy Steven, I said, yo, bro, I know I'm supposed to watch this with you. I'm about to go home. I get up at 4 something every morning. I cannot, not saying I would get up at 4 something, but I naturally get up early though. So I'm like, me staying up this late is problematic. And then he was like, man, it should just after this fight. I said, bro, they don't show somebody after this fight. I'm out of here. And so they ended up putting out on that fight. And then I got home with Link at after one, way after one. And this is the same thing. So it's like you had 3 undercard fights. They all went the distance.
Mm-hmm.
They all went the distance. Why are you putting in time fillers when they went the distance?
Yeah, because they're all 10 rounds apiece.
This is asinine. Then you put on this Walsh kid who's a nobody as your co-main event. And not saying like he's a nobody as far as he's not a good fighter or that he's not a well-known name because I'm not that bad. I'm not pissed off that it's not a well-known name because you don't need matter of fact if you're gonna put non-well-known names on there, Canelo being on the card is when you do it because that's who's selling it. That guy ain't no future world champion. You saw him fight. He fight at well, I forget what the division was. I think it was no. I might be flipping the fights over. But he ain't no future world champion. Why is he a co-main event? But in Bealey, who was the only champion that was on the list of undercard broadcasted fights, you put him in a 10-round bout, not a 12-round bout, a 10-round bout for a belt. And that was the casual fans' best fight. And Bealey fights one way. That's coming forward throwing bombs. Why would you put those two as the co-main event? Why not put Mbili and Martinez? And then they put this bum-ass Saudi Arabian kid who had 6 fights and 1 knockout, and you talking about knockout bonuses. He couldn't get, if you gave him a $4 billion knockout bonus, he couldn't knock anything out. He couldn't knock out a can of beans. But this is what you put on for. Now, again, he's from Saudi Arabia. I guarantee. And not only that, you put him in there with a guy who's another bum. Thank you for serving our country. Crawford, I forget his first name. The other Crawford that was on the card. Travis.
He's not even in there yet. He was enlisted.
Yeah, he's going to though. So I'm giving him his props. Thank you. But this guy, why would you put on the starting card? Now apparently from what everybody's saying, the best fight was the fight before that fight. So the fight that wasn't televised it was a rematch. The fight that wasn't televised was supposedly the best fight of the night. And you put this bum ass, pillow-handed kid on the card against another bum who's 7-4, who's quitting boxing to join the military. And y'all looked at your whole card setup, all the money that y'all paying out to them, and you're like, yeah, so we got to pick 3. Oh yeah, we need him. Again, I guarantee that I can close my eyes and reach out in Saudi Arabia and find 4 boxers better than that kid. I promise you. If I went to Saudi Arabia to a mall, I'm not even talking about a boxing gym.
Pick 4 niggas at a kiosk.
And grab 4 people. They would all be better boxers than him. I'm exaggerating, of course. Because the kid did have some skills. He had some speed. But I'm like, bro, you in there against a nobody. And you didn't even press anything. You didn't even try to go for it. And this, you're never gonna, if Turkey is not putting on a card, you're never gonna be on TV again. Matter of fact, you should never be on TV again. I don't know why you were on TV this time. In a 10-rounder against a guy who's a 7-4 guy who's about to leave to join the military. What is happening? Dana White, and the thing is, I'm not gonna blame Turkey Al-Sheikh. I'm not blaming him. He's just the money guy. I'm sure he had some input, like, yo, like, I really want somebody from my country on this. Pick somebody. Dana, you're supposed to know the game. Pick somebody else. Look, I get you, Turk. I get you. Can we go with somebody? Because he's not it. We're trying to sell knockouts. We got a knockout bonus, which is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in sports.
Yeah, that's a UFC thing.
Yeah, I know that's what he's trying to bring, but I'm like, bruh.
But it's
about winning the fight.
Yeah, but what's it called? Boxing is not that. It's a chess match basically. Not just a couple of guys wearing their best underwear.
Yeah.
Dry humping each other for 15. Yeah, for 4.5 rounds.
25 minutes is their full fights.
Yeah, it's like, yo, like they just on the ground just dry humping each other. and then they might get up and start throwing punches and kicks, and then just take each other down again and start dry humping each other. It's like, yeah, it's like, yo, it's like, I didn't have to. So I can watch porn for free, straight porn. Like I don't need to see this.
Yeah. Like I was those that was one, I think that was 2 points. 2 points about the whole show. It might just be those two. I thought I had three, but I'm gonna leave it at those two. That was awful. Awful. That show itself was awful. The only thing, I was dozing off during the Walsh and Vargas Jr. fight. I was like, bro, I'm not even exaggerating. I started doing jumping jacks in the room so I could make sure I stayed awake to watch this fight.
Yeah, like I told you, uh, the Crawford, the Travis Crawford fight. I fell asleep, and I woke up. I woke up uh, and missed what's it called? Terrence Crawford's walk to
Very
the
well.
ring.
Okay.
Yeah. Canelo had his mariachi band playing before he walked out of the tunnel. He's like, when I woke up, I was like, damn, I really hope I didn't miss the fight.
Bruh, pissed. Pissed, man. That cannot happen, dog. That cannot happen because yes, you're on the West Coast. You gotta understand that the East Coast is very important to your viewership because middle America, nobody lives there. Like the advertising dollars ain't there. It's on the coasts. So you need the East Coast. Now we on the East Coast, we're gonna watch good fights, things of that nature. But you cannot have these cards keep going to one. And UFC was the same way. The other time I went to watch a UFC fight, I think it was a John Jones fight. It was getting to that time, and I didn't watch the fight. I was like, "Oh, this is a normal thing for UFC, where they put on 500 undercards." So I'm like, "Yeah, none of the fights ended knockouts. Let's get to the next fight. Hey, it's time to go." So the other thing I want to say about this event, then we'll get to the real stuff, is Max Kellerman is a goof. And I love Max Kellerman. I love Max Kellerman. This man gets on and starts glazing the hell out of Dana White in the pre-fight press conference, the final press conference before they got to it, and starts saying how the UFC and is just like giving him all this props and saying that the UFC is the biggest sport in boxing or the biggest. He got bigger than boxing. I need to know what event has the Ultimate Fighting Championship has ever put together that has been on the same level, because they've been saying this for 10 years. They've been saying that UFC has eclipsed boxing for 10 years that I've known of. What UFC event has eclipsed Mayweather Pacquiao, this fight we had last night, a Jake Paul fight, Garcia Davis, Tank Garcia, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. Like, what are we talking about? Why are you doing this? And then Canelo corrected him. And he was like, no, like boxing is still big. And he tried to and then he doubled down, he doubles down on it later, like afterwards. I'm like, bro, again, I can't, I've never ever, there's been, I work in communications. We get phone calls. You know what phone calls I was getting all day? When's the fight? How can I get the fight? How can I get the fight? I don't know where to buy the fight. You know something that's never happened since I've been working at this job? Somebody asking me that about UFC fights. I'm
You
not
know,
even joking. I'm not joking. It's never happened.
you know they ain't gotta ask you that because they could just go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings is horrible. The fact that they had UFC fights and didn't put on Mayweather fights was egregious. Like that we couldn't watch a Mayweather fight. I wish I would have known that Dave and Buster's is actually smarter than them and put on every boxing fight back then.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
like,
more enjoyable place to be at anyway.
I'm like, these people, like, yeah. So Max Kellerman stopped pole riding. And also, and to all my Mexican fans who watch boxing, I am so happy that your hero got beat down. I would, if y'all lucky I have to pay for private school because I promise you I would have been there at that event, getting crazy, getting crazy. Y'all might have tried to jump me. My favorite fighter against him, and it went the way it went. Come on, dog. I don't know about his GOAT status. He's the greatest, second greatest fighter I've ever watched their entire, or I shouldn't say their entire career, but a good portion of their career. Second greatest. And Andre Ward's my second favorite. But, Bud, you did your thing. Whatever you do next, I think you a hoe for what you did to your girl, having a baby on her. But outside of that, I love you. I love you. But now for the moment y'all all been waiting for. I don't even know how to start this. I think shout out to the great American philosopher, the notorious B.I.G. Now, I did not put that out there as a joke. I put that out there because we don't know the motive, even though we know who.
Yeah.
The thing that I discovered about the shooting and killing of the man Charlie Kirk is that when black people think you racist, they will never care about you, your family, your kids, your loved ones, your friends, your fans, or anybody who thinks you're a good person. And I'm seeing a lot of white people out here acting like this dude is a good person. I watch like Christian YouTube.
Mm.
I've stopped following. I unsubscribed to like 4 channels over this guy. They were literally paying tribute to this person. Now I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna have you kind of like talk about the shooting portion of it. I just wanted to talk about the people who have been absolutely despicable in this whole thing, in the aftermath of it. The president of the United States talking about how this was liberals attacking. The NFL for holding a moment of silence for this person who did nothing to contribute to the NFL and did not like 80% of your league. The New York Yankees for paying a tribute to this man. But maybe it's because 80% of your league don't play. But no, actually, no, he didn't care for it. It wasn't just a black thing. It was anybody that wasn't white thing that he didn't care for. So yeah, he did not like most of your league either. All the black people saying that we shouldn't be celebrating his death. I'm not saying you shouldn't be you should or shouldn't be celebrating his death. Shut up.
Him dying doesn't concern you.
Because if you died, it would. Matter of fact, I can't believe there's bros out here, really. Bros out here really saying, I can't believe y'all would make fun of somebody who died. He did the same thing to George Floyd. The great American philosopher Freeway once said, nigga, you get what you asked for. Bullets of boars. He got both. Again, this is not a joke. Not trying to be funny. You got what you asked for. Oh, he got shot over his words, over his speech, over his rhetoric. Nobody should ever be that. I just want to ask y'all one thing, and I'm gonna go shoot this over to zero.
Mm.
If, because this guy started out as all talk. I'm not saying Charlie Kirk would have ever been on this level.
Mm.
But he was something called a white nationalist. He called himself a white nationalist, and you look up what white nationalists are, they're virtually white supremacists. So this person, and some people was like he was going to be the next president. Okay. This other person was speaking a lot of hate speech and saying this and that about ethnic groups of people. And everybody thought it was all talk. And then he started something called World War II. I'm not saying Charlie Kirk is Adolf Hitler, but if you had the chance to take Hitler out when he was all talk, would you took that shot?
Yeah. Especially knowing what you know now.
Knowing what you know now, if you
It was
had,
all propaganda.
and that's not nothing. That's talk. And then you found out that this person was one of the most evil people in human history. And it's just like, yeah, no, maybe we've even heard What didn't the Avengers joke around and talk about turning the light switches off when he was an infant?
Mhm.
Infancy. They made a joke about that.
It's like,
So,
why would just go back in time and kill baby Thanos?
so it's like, yeah, no, this just doesn't. That's what I think that's the thing that's missing with this whole like he was just talking, he was just going to college campuses and things of that nature. He was spreading misinformation with a drop of truth in there to spread racist, evil, bigoted conversations. And for those people who are so-called Christians, not I'm not saying that you have to celebrate the man dying. What I'm saying is you don't make tributes to this person like he was a saint.
Mhm.
All right, Zero, go ahead. Because I can go all day.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just this whole situation. Because I said what I said. Like it like the fact that he could say what he said and do what he did, and folks want to pay tribute, make absolutely no sense. It never will, because like the information that he spread, yeah, like the information that he spread, the way, like, and there's video of him calling somebody a chink in the audience. That sounds like somebody that should be celebrated.
Hold on. I do want to make a correction.
Mm,
The guy he was going off on, his name is Chen.
okay. All right, so it's like all the data that he was bringing up, like all the things that he would say when we talk about DEI. It's like he really made it seem as if a black man was piloting a plane, that they just hired him on just to hire him on, and that he didn't have the experience to fly. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. Like, you have to log in at uh, a really good amount of flight hours in order for you to even be able to fly a plane. That you literally have to be qualified in order for you to qualify to fly a plane. It's like it's like it's really weird how he can spew this sort of stuff, and people are celebrating him like he was like the next coming of Christ or something. Like, and the irony with him getting shot is the fact that he what the great American philosopher Lando said. He got shot in the first, second, and third whitest state in in America, in Utah. All that rhetoric that was being spewed about um violence, well, especially gang violence in LA, gang violence in Chicago, violence in New York. This didn't happen to him anywhere. He wasn't in any of those places when the shit popped off. Then when he gets shot and then he's pronounced dead, they automatically went to it's got to be the left that did this. It was the left that did this. It was a radical. It was a radical trans Antifa shooter that did this. They're the ones who did this. To then find out that the guy who shot him was a Republican in a two-parent household that donated to the Trump administration, who is on the right. Well, of course, we don't know why he did it. We just know that he did it. And the fact that everybody wanted to continuously try to push the narrative as if it had to be somebody from the left. Even a Democrat said, this is on us. Why would you open your mouth and say that with no evidence of anything? It's like, oh yeah, this is on us. Like, yo, shut your dumb ass up and let it and
Somebody
let
said that? Who said that?
I don't remember what the lady's name was. She was like after they found out that he wasn't even pronounced dead yet. They just knew that he was shot. And then it was like and she said, "Oh, this is on us." Like, why would you say that? They didn't even find anybody. Like, you're an idiot. Like, shut your dumb ass up. And of course, black folks got to be involved in this shit because we got folks threatening HBCUs. It's like, like what? So you mean to tell me that that it just had to be it just had to be a black person. You just felt like it had to be a black person that did this because of all the stuff that he was saying and all the stuff that he's done, but all the stuff that he said in regards to the black community, and you turn around and just start threatening schools that have nothing to do with what the hell happened. Like it's like you just had to blame somebody. It was like, you know what? Let's blame black folks for this shit. Then when you find out it's then when they find then with the bullet casings, it was like, oh, they had this Antifa rhetoric, trans rhetoric. It's like, yeah, he etched his bullets in some shit. All right. So nothing made sense. Ben Shapiro just knew that it was somebody from the left until they found out it wasn't somebody from the left. And then he wanted to change up. Then it was like, oh, we didn't know. It was like, let the evidence come through first before you decide that you're just going to blame folks just to blame folks. It's like it's ridiculous for you to do that sort of shit, but they just kept them. But even finding out I bet it's still black folks' fault. It's like none of the cities that you've been talking down on, is the area where it happened to you. It happened in the whitest state. And then his wife was talking, I think his wife said the evildoers that killed him. It was like evildoers. So this is a DC comic?
All right, so hold on, people. So a little bit of a technical difficulty because my son has a job, and for some reason, he got things backwards. Because last night, he does not call me to pick him up from his job. Can you see me? Okay,
Yeah,
not really.
yeah, not really.
He does not ask me to pick him up from his job, and he walks home at 12:30. But here we are at 10:35, and he's like, he needs a ride. So we taking the pot on the road.
Oh snap.
Should I make him walk home? Yes.
Yes.
Am I?
No.
Nah. But hold on. But one thing you're saying, I don't remember. I think that it was a white lady who said this is on Democrats. I don't think she said this is on us.
Nah, she was a Democrat, so yeah, I believe the lady who said it was a Democrat. I wish I had the video. I believe it was a
This
Democrat who
this
said it.
this lady who said that this is on Democrats. She kept saying they have to own this. She never said we have to own this.
Okay. So
If
so
we're
I got
thinking
that.
about this, if I'm thinking about the same lady.
So I got the
But
info wrong. That's no problem.
I don't know what he was because I think Bill Maher said that they like the cop thing. His dad was a cop or whatever. Like that was just internet stuff. But I don't know. I haven't really looked into it because, quite frankly, I don't care about who did it. I just want to know why they did it. I don't really care about the
Yeah.
political leaning of it. But
Yeah.
like there was some people who were like literally saying like, "Oh, y'all want war? Left wants war? We got the guns. Shut the fuck up. Fuck up. Your soft ass up. We got the guns. You never shot nothing."
You just got him because you know you can get him.
Then they're like, "Oh, when Democrats don't get their way, they get violent." Didn't y'all bludgeon a police officer half to death? The
You know,
insurrection on January 6th? Like,
and
what are we
then
talking about?
what was that? What was in your story? It was like um it's like free speech is like free speech was only is like free speech was only for the right.
Man, they only care about the great American philosopher D.L. Hughley once says, "Everybody wants justice, but only when it's just us." It's just like no, like that's like I'm somebody who don't think I'm certainly not a conservative or not a progressive. I said this before to Zero. We were having a conversation. I was like, what the whole conservative versus progressive kind of thing is there the issue is they don't understand that there are two things that are necessary for the development of anything.
Mm.
There are certain things in which conservation is necessary, and there's things where progression is necessary. So that's when the country and all countries work well together. Not it's either my way or the highway. That's never been effective in any relationship. So why are we trying to act like this is the thing? This is not a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you do too much of anything, it's gonna die.
Mm.
Because they say, oh, like the extreme far right, that's anarchy. The extreme far left is communism. Both of those systems fail. So why the hell are y'all sitting there trying to act like you can't, like, I know people who's like, oh yeah, they must be stupid because they're a Democrat. No, you're stupid for signing up to either one. That's what I believe. Especially if you're a black person. The fuck these white people do for you? That you love them so much. And I'm like, and here's my thing, just as a black person myself, hey, podcast world, here's my son who decided he want to call me halfway through a podcast, but he didn't call me during this boring ass fight last night at midnight. But he want to call me at 10:30. So you want to walk home at midnight and don't want to walk home at 10 o'clock. That's what he's telling us right now. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's exactly
we got the travel podcast today. It's all good.
It's like 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. I'm man enough. It's like
Yo, yeah, then
10:30. Nah, that's
10:30.
10:30 on a Sunday. Nah.
You know, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's trying to be considerate. It's like, yo, man, it's mad late. I don't want to wake him up. Think I care about being awake in my son. But this podcast come first. Let me stop.
Wait.
Oh man. No, but yeah, you know, and the dude gets, you know, shot through his throat.
Talking out the side of his neck.
That's insane. That's insane. And it's just like I remember there was Andrew Schultz had a joke about somebody. I forget, the guy wrote a book about God not being real. And he made a bunch of money going across the globe talking about how God wasn't real. He ends up dying from like some mouth or esophageal cancer. So it's just like you sitting there saying all this stuff, negative stuff about God, and then God said you're going to learn today. Then there's this other person trying to use God to push his hateful rhetoric, and then he got shot in his throat. So clearly, God has a sense of humor, and everybody mad at us for joking about it. Like we just so we thought we was doing God's work, I guess. But it's just like you doing, like, the dude was out here saying nothing good about black people. Hey, I love when black people tell me, man, you know, man, Black lives got to start mattering during the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Black lives got to start mattering to black people. Like, oh, do you know? Oh, yeah, because we 88% likely to kill each other than everybody else. You know, that's rooted in, you know, that statistic is rooted in racism? Man, it's true. Yeah, it probably is true. Do you know the statistics of murder in general? Oh, you know, it's 90. Actually learned this from The Simpsons. Crazy, right? The Simpsons are the ones with the facts. You are 90. If you're murdered by somebody, it's 95% chance that you know them. That you know them. Just look at your Facebook page. Look at your friends on Facebook. If you get murdered, it's one of them niggas. Look at the complexion. Them niggas. So it's just like, so if you're 95% likely to be killed by somebody that you know, and 90% of the people that you know look like you.
Mm.
Black on black crime isn't real. Then there was statistics that came out that said that crime in the black community has been dropping. In the racial aspect of everything, the racial aspect of everything, it's actually a lot more even across all races than that original stat had put out.
Mm.
I've been saying black on black crime isn't real for about 15 years. All because of one episode of The Simpsons. And then, of course, I fact checked it. And then even freaking Law and Order had mentioned it. And a lot of these crime shows had mentioned it. That's why if someone gets murdered, have you ever watched First 48? The first people they start questioning are your close loved ones, and they want alibis from your close loved ones. They're always the first suspect. So you said that to say what? He talked about how a Harvard graduate in Michelle Obama and shoot, why can't I think of the other lady? Black lady in the Supreme Court. Um, I can't think of her name, but he said they said that they would be there. They wouldn't be there if it wasn't for affirmative action. He goes, "Oh well, we know that they're Harvard graduates. You couldn't cut it in community college. For some reason, you had
100%
this,
acceptance rate.
bruh, you had this thought process that you were better than them solely because of the complexion of your skin. Yet you so-called Christian bastards are putting up posts and tributes to this vile piece of filth. All of you people are fucking disgusting. Every single one of y'all that call yourselves Christians, and sorry, God, for using this rhetoric, for using this language, but you're fucking nasty. You're despicable. You're deplorable. There is nothing good about you. If that's what you're going to condone. It's his free speech. Guess it is. Guess who else had free speech? Christ. Guess what Christ didn't say? None of it. So you think I give a fuck about free speech? Let's talk about free speech. So why did Christ choose? Christ could have said anything about us because he knows us all. Christ could have easily been like, Romans? No, like these are my father's chosen people. All y'all can go to hell. Literally, I'm about to send you there. Boom, you're there. No, he didn't do none of that. He didn't make fun of people passing away, like or getting killed like George Floyd, like he did George Floyd. He didn't spread lies. These are the people that y'all want that y'all wanted your son to look up to. People were like, "Oh, I feel bad for his kids." For what? I'm not talking about white people. I can care less about them. Black people saying they felt bad about his kids. For what? He was about to raise two more of him. Understand that. He was about to raise up two more of him. So you feel you should feel good for them. That you should feel good for the world that's not what, or hopefully that's not what his kids are going to turn into. Hopefully his kids are going to be more open-minded. Hopefully his kids are going to be willing to have conversations and not spread lies when it comes to conversation And then I saw a lot of black kids like debating him. This is what's wrong with Black America. We don't know nothing about ourselves
Mm.
because he's literally talking lies to these black kids and they're just accepting it because that's what the media pushed to them, except for seeing what the reality is. Like I said, reality is that you're 85% likely to be killed by a black person. But guess what? And then then there was a statistic. He said that your white person is um, more likely to be have a crime committed against them from a from a black person than the other way around. The statistics show that that was false. So I'm like these are the things that was the rhetoric that this guy was spewing. And yet you guys are sitting there, oh man, I feel sorry for him. Oh, I feel bad, and this, that, and the other. I'm like, how many like they've struck fear in the black heart, people like him. Because I've said it before. Okay, Black Wall Street, man. Oh yeah, man, we had Black Wall Street, man. They tore it down. First of all, there was a lot of situations before Black Wall Street. The problem I have with Black Wall Street is that Black Wall Street wasn't the last situation, but Black Wall Street was a very unique situation. There should have been 100 Black Wall Streets to take its place.
Mm.
There's still nothing that I know of that is similar to a Black Wall Street today. Okay, and then they killed, you know, Fred Hampton. They killed. I'm talking about Caucasian people because I'm not going to include Malcolm X. They killed Martin Luther King. They killed so many black people for speaking. Man, you should never be killed for your speech. No, but guess what? People have
Yeah.
regularly. This is not a new thing. This is not a new thing, people. Maybe y'all don't know because y'all ain't from where we from. Or y'all didn't grow up and seen what we've seen. We've seen, bruh, Menace in Society. First person that got killed in Menace in Society. Was he not performing his freedom of speech?
Yep. He was free to speak and he got clapped.
I feel sorry for your mother. Second
Mhm.
person who got killed in Menace in Society. Was he not practicing his free speech? I spent 5 motherfucking years in the joint. Stuck on this. So I'm just saying, man, like sometimes you get to doing this stuff to the wrong person and it gets you hurt.
Yep. The great American philosopher Lupe Fiasco said, freedom ain't free, especially around my way.
And I'm like, yeah, you're free to say whatever you want. And that person is free to deal with you however they want
Mhm.
from what you said.
Yeah, freedom is costly. It costs a lot for you to it's gonna cost a lot because like you can say whatever it is that you want to, but you're gonna have to pay the price for
Man,
what it is that you say.
when I saw that dude, it's funny because my boy sent me the video and it was like Charlie Kirk got shot and they showed a dude getting arrested, the picture.
Mm.
And so he was dying laughing. I was like, bro, is he dead? And he was like, yo, I don't know. I just know he got shot. So, now those would maybe be like, well, what else would he be if he's been shot? Yeah, there's people who get shot and live through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of military veterans can tell you, can show you the bullet wounds. So then he sent me the video. I said, yo, he dead. He was like, man, he in critical condition. I said, bruh, you see him hit the Tua, he's dead. You can't hit the Tua You can't hit the two with blood splaying out of your neck and think that that's a survivable thing. Then people was like, man, and at first I was like, yo, this man, somebody was really, that was a professional shot. Who hit somebody in the neck? And I was like,
right in the
who
jugular.
who would hit somebody in the neck? That wasn't a professional shot. That was an amateur. He missed. He missed.
He
No,
didn't know
don't
that.
get me wrong. He hit him,
But
but he
that's not where he
missed.
was aiming. He didn't take the Coriolis effect into play. He didn't watch enough Shooter. He didn't
Yeah, so
he didn't watch enough Bob Lee Swagger.
and then people was like talking about conspiracies and stuff. I was like, well, what if the conspiracy is that he missed? And what I mean by that he missed, let's say it was supposed to be let's say it was supposed to be a Donald Trump situation. It was supposed to be close enough. It was supposed to be close enough to scare him and not hit him.
And it just so happened that it hit him. He was like
Since we
he
want to
got
throw out
hit.
conspiracies, right?
Yeah, he got hit. It was supposed to be a warning shot.
It was supposed to, not even a warning shot. Like, I know the shot is coming, So I'm gonna.
You know to keep your head on the swivel from now on.
And so it's just like, okay, you shoot, make it close, get the Donald Trump effect. I just, my ear gets grazed or something like that, and he misses the wrong way,
Mm.
and it goes through his neck.
Yeah, he went a little bit too far to the left on that one.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, like, since we want to make up conspiracies, let's start making stuff up. Let's do that. Like, I can do this all day.
Yo, there was a conspiracy. This dude had a conspiracy theory. I don't know where he got this shit from, but he was like the guy that was standing behind him uh did a signal, and there was a
Bruh,
guy over to the right, over to his right, that supposedly lifted his hands up and shot him. It was like, you know where the bullet came from? It's like, was that movie where they curved the bullets?
wanted.
Yeah, it's like, you mean to tell me he did some wanted shit?
I want to know how many people tried that and shot somebody.
It's like, hey man, it's like, put the apple behind you and stand here. It's like, can't you just do it with the tree? I need you to stand here. Remember, like in the movie, it's got to be somebody I care about in order for me to miss. You and Colonel.
That had to been the most dangerous concept anybody's ever done. Why would you do that in a movie?
And then they hit their friend. It's like, shit, man, I ain't flipped my wrist enough.
I go to the hospital. Shot me in the arm.
Damn, I ain't flipped my wrist enough. I
Let
didn't
me try.
snap
Let me
it
try.
enough.
Let me try left-handed. Maybe that's like.
Yo, the snap wasn't right. The snap, the arm trajectory wasn't right. You know what?
Who thought that was a good concept to come up with? Like, why was that so? Why was that a thing?
Just shooting the
Why was
wings
that
off
a
a fly.
thing? Why would you? Why would you be like, you know what? We're gonna make an assassin movie, and of all the cool things we could think of doing, let's think of the one thing that people might actually try to do, which is curve a bullet around a person. Because for some reason that's controllable. For some reason we know that he's about to be the next Professor X, so he has to use telekinesis essentially to get his bullets around people.
Yo,
Like what?
let's shoot the wings off of a fly, even though the energy from the bullet should be ripping the flies to shreds.
Bruh, it's similar to Donald Trump's ear. How do you have no damage? It's a bullet.
Even though the energy from the bullet is supposed to disintegrate these goddamn flies, only these wings are gonna get clipped off.
Bruh,
Okay.
the heat alone from the bullet. What's the damn? What's the damn? I mean, yeah, just to eat alone with freaking Thanos snap them joints. But yeah, so I'm, like I said, like, and then also going back to like the whole like this is a liberal or whatever, and it's just like, okay, this is a liberal, and then people are like, oh yeah, like there's people, like one of my homeboys, he's like, yo, like, oh well, there's bad people on both sides. I'm like, yeah, but the bad people on the left aren't saying kill all black people or that we're better than black people.
Mm.
Now they might think they are, but they're at least not saying it. And then it's like, oh well, I'd rather know that you racist versus you being a wolf in sheep's clothing. Nah, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that.
Because you
So
insulted me to
me,
my face all the goddamn time. Like, you
me,
think I'm gonna be good with
me,
that?
yeah, me knowing you're racist doesn't change the danger that I'm in
Yeah.
because you're racist. Matter of fact, there was a guy, he got shot by his white neighbor, white supremacist, black dude. He was mowing his lawn, got shot through his chest. No, got shot. I think it either went through his neck or his chest or the other way around. Caught on camera. The police said that they couldn't arrest him.
Because he was mentally disabled. They didn't know if he was mentally disabled. They can't just go barging in and have
No,
this
it wasn't.
fire.
It wasn't. It wasn't that.
It wasn't that one.
No, that's not why. That's not the reason they gave. They said that they didn't want to get into a firefight that could potentially endanger everybody else, including the police force, when it's your job to deal with people who are a threat to society.
Hmm. This is in Minneapolis, right?
I don't know where it was, but like, it's like they knew that it was racist. It didn't keep them from getting. She didn't keep that man from getting shot.
Yep.
So me know like, oh, I'd rather know who you are. Yeah, but that's why I can't like vote for the guy that you think is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like just off of like people's like, I know black conservatives, they're like, oh yeah, like, and then the black conservatives saying they voted for Trump because they vote right because of their conservative values and their belief in God. I'm like, what the fuck has Trump ever done to make you think that he's done anything? This dude's best friend was a pedophile. And then he's like, oh, he likes those girls. He was telling us this whole time his best friend was a predator. His best friend needed to see Chris Hansen. Oh yeah, he likes young girls. Wink, wink. He likes them real young. Why do you keep saying real young?
Hey, what you mean
If
by that?
like, dude literally bragged. This same president literally bragged about him going into locker rooms for Miss Teen USA to do an inspection so virtually he could see the girls getting dressed. That's the guy you voted for. So when you show me something and you're like, you send me the videos, you ain't black if you don't vote for me, talking about Joe Biden, that's cool. The guy you voted for posted on his Twitter the black on black crime statistics and said out loud on the Howard Stern show that he goes into teenage girls' locker rooms. Bragged about this stuff. Best friend was a predator. bragged about this stuff. So it's like, oh, like I get what my aunt was talking about when she said lesser of two evils. Joe Biden's an idiot. They both were idiots. The fact that we almost had a rematch was ridiculous. They're both 450 years old apiece. You're muted.
One of them was I was in perfect health. And it's like my doctor said I was the healthiest I've ever been. He's never seen a more healthy man. What?
And it's like, what? So you mean it like it's just like the gross exaggerations that because that's exactly what you'll say. I think that's exactly what he said. And it's like that, no, you're 77 years old or whatever, mid 70s, mid to late 70s. What are you talking about? No, he see nobody healthier than you? That's what he told you to your face, and you believe that.
It's like me. He's like me and LeBron James have the same doctor, and he said I was
Bruh,
healthier than
bruh,
Le, he said I
bruh.
was he
That's
said
all
I
I'm
was
like,
healthier.
like, come on, dog. What rural senior home did you go to that your doctor works at?
Yeah, well, you don't have dementia, Alzheimer's, or shingles, so I mean, you're the healthiest person here. So my doctor said I'm the healthy. I was even more healthy than him, and he's a vegan. He is vegan. I don't like it, but that's what he is. Oh man, this underripe tomato skin ass nigga.
Bruh. And again, I don't want to like I promise you, like the whole Democrat Republican thing, that shit is tired and lame. There's a guy on my page, and he said, "Oh, you just compared me to the KKK." I'm like, you. My whole thing is this: like white people say that they're not racist, right? Which might not be racist.
Mhm.
I've seen people I haven't seen posts in months, some maybe even years. And when Charlie Kirk died, they were posting. I haven't seen you post nothing. You had 4 kids, and you ain't post none of them, but you post about Charlie Kirk.
Got a picture, and it's like first day of school out. It's the first day of school ready. It's like, I can't believe I have a teenager. None of them. Or Charlie
Yeah,
Kirk. Or
but
Charlie
Charlie
Kirk.
Kirk that died, and you got thought pieces. You got conspiracies. And I say that because there's like, oh, like first of all, you're mourning, you're visibly bothered by somebody who is a who calls himself a white nationalist. Again, look at the definition of what a white nationalist is. Then you say all these other things. You line up with a guy who don't like black people, who thinks black people are inferior to him, solely because of the color of their skin. He believes that DEI is solely based on skin color. Oh, if my pilot was black, I would wonder if he was a DEI hire. Why would that cross your mind? Why would that cross your mind before? 'Cause you know what? This whole scenario is exactly what he wanted. The man said gun deaths are necessary to protect the Second Amendment rights. If you want the job done right, hire a white man.
And he got the whitest of white.
So if you're gonna kill me, make sure it's a white guy. He's the best man for the job. That's virtually what he said. If you're gonna clap me, get a white guy for the job. Because nothing's better than an off-rhythm clap.
So I think he meant to scrape my neck and not penetrate my neck. But
I guarantee, bro, watch Gemini Man.
wait, what?
I was like, a black guy would never make that kind of shot. He was like, they should have hired Matt Damon for this. Why would you think that a black guy could be the Gemini Man? Who would clone a black guy? Who would really do that? He watched that movie in pure disgust. So you mean to tell me that he could make that shot?
Is that the Will Smith movie?
Yeah, Will Smith was using an assassin. I'm like, but at the end of the day, is it funny that he died? Kinda. But like, it's not funny. I'm joking. I don't wish death on nobody. I wish death on nobody. I promise y'all. Personally, gonna miss Charlie Kirk. I'm really gonna miss Charlie Kirk. Y'all don't understand. If y'all was on my Instagram page, like from my stories, was Charlie Kirk getting cooked by 20-year-old college kids. I love Charlie Kirk. He was my entertainment for my day. Y'all don't understand. I'm going to miss him. But then also, something else? When people are like, I can't believe black people are so disgusting that y'all are celebrating Charlie Kirk getting killed. We had a whole group of black women celebrating Kevin Samuels getting killed. What make you think we care about racists? We care about Kevin Samuel. Brothers don't care about racists, man. I'm telling y'all. It's crazy.
When he died. He just didn't go the other way. So they paused the video.
That's insane, yo.
Yeah, it's so.
And for those who might be like, what if somebody did that to y'all? I'm dead. I don't know. Now, yeah, my family would probably have to deal with the aftermath, but y'all would do that anyways. No, I know y'all would do that. Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. Y'all did that to every black person who died during the Black Lives Matter movement. You try to dig up every single thing wrong about them, and they wasn't even public knowledge. This guy went out publicly talking crazy about black and brown people, and y'all was sitting here acting like he was a saint. What part of what he was doing was good? Oh, he was telling black people the statistics. Okay, if he was really about statistics, then he wouldn't be getting punished by 21-year-old high school kids or college kids.
Damn, 21-year-old high school kids. No, he definitely need to retire if he getting punished by dudes who still haven't graduated yet.
That's how he acted, was like a 21-year-old high school kid. I'm like, the guy was a horrible person for the most part.
Yeah, it's
And
funny
the
how the
thing is,
guy.
just because people love you don't mean you're a good person.
Yeah, it's so funny that a guy who dropped out of college decided to make a career out of debating the folks that he couldn't hang with in the first fucking place.
Yeah, and the thing, it's so funny because like he was so disingenuous. He wasn't a good debater. Like people would be like, "Oh yeah,"
Yeah,
like that's why like when he
because
actually got into real debates, he would get cooked because what his strategy would be like,
like I told you, yeah, it's like what I told you. It's like he'll get caught into a question and then he'll turn you into a hostile witness.
no, it wasn't necessarily that. What he would do would be um, like he'll be like, I'm trying to think of like I can't think of anything specifically he would say, but it would be like, um, why do you, why do you, um, why, why, like, let's say it's a black person, and it'll be like, oh, why are you talking about, um, white power? Why do you preach about white power? And then he won't answer the question with like an answer. He'll answer the question with a question. So he'll be like, so is there something wrong with black power? No, there's nothing wrong with black power. So why is there something wrong with white power?
Hmm.
Or this is one thing they all do, Candace Owens and all that. White supremacy. Oh, there's white supremacy? What can you do that a white person can't do? You know that's not what white supremacy is.
Hmm.
Excuse me. You know that's not what white supremacy is. You know that's not what the basis of white supremacy is. But yet, or systemic racism or whatever. You know that's not what it is, but he'll ask you that. So then what's the answer? Oh, well, there's nothing I can do that a white person can't do. Legally, anyways. Oh, so how is there white privilege if you could do everything I can do? And he's like, oh, so ignore the racial barriers that come up. Like for example, since the DEI initiative has gone away from a bunch of companies, black unemployment has skyrocketed. So it's like, yeah, like so when you get rid of a policy that allows black people a fair shake, and then now you leaving it up to these people to hire who they want to hire, and then it's
Hmm.
like, it's about meritocracy. So what's meritocracy about you looking at two job applications? You don't need to see any of them. One guy's name is Kwame, the other guy's name is Kurt. You throwing Kwame's resume around away solely off of his name. You won't even give him a shot. You don't even know if Kurt is black or white. You just know that name is he's gonna be black. I know a white guy named Terrell. I ain't never heard of no white guy named Terrell. I know a Jewish guy named Jerome. I ain't never know no Jewish guy named Jerome.
The alleged killer, Tyler Robinson. It's like he a descendant of Jackie Robinson. You know they gonna try to flip it that way.
They are.
It's like, I bet you he held the gun sideways like a black guy too.
I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where you just have to understand that this is not that tragic. Just think about this. Martin Luther King was killed, and he was saying, we just want to be treated fairly.
Would be treated fairly, cost of his life.
And and the sad thing is, a lot of those political leaders from the civil rights movement and Black Panthers movement and stuff like that, like they were willing to die over this.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up dying over this. And it's just like, and then it's like, I used to love when white people used to be like, even some of my white friends, they used to be like, and they used to be like, oh, Martin Luther King would have never done this. And it's like, oh, what do you mean, peacefully protest? And then the police come and sick the dogs and spray them down with hoses? So
Yeah.
why is it that y'all get to retaliate? Now, again, rioting doesn't really solve anything. But why is it that y'all get to attack us when we're not doing anything wrong? But when we fight back from you attacking us from doing nothing wrong within our legal rights, now it's like, oh, Martin Luther. Why are you talking to me about Martin Luther King when your people killed him regardless? There's a right way to do things. What do you mean? What do you mean there's a right way to do things?
There's a time and place for everything, right?
It's always the time for and place. Here's the funny thing. You're 100% right. There's a time and place for everything. That doesn't mean it's convenient for you. I'm going to give y'all an example. Listening to this podcast, there's a time and place for everything. The time and place to call me to pick your ass up from work is not halfway through my motherfucking podcast. But guess what? It ain't always convenient for me, but guess what? He got picked up. We finishing the podcast in my car because I don't feel like having to set everything back up again.
Yeah, it's like the Colin Kaepernick situation with the kneeling. It's like there's so many NFL fans that were like, "Oh, there shouldn't be politics in our sports." There's a
And for
time.
some reason, you do a moment of silence for a guy who absolutely did nothing. This dude ain't passed no law. This dude didn't get voted into office. This dude didn't graduate college.
Shoot, he
This
barely
dude,
attended.
this dude started a YouTube page, and y'all held a moment of silence for him. NFL and the New York Yankees. The Yankees. New York. New York, one of the most liberal cities in the world. That's what y'all do. I can't understand how somebody who pushed things in the manner that he pushed things could ever get a moment of silence. Half-mast. They treated this guy like he was a soldier that just died in combat. They're giving him the presidential
Medal of Freedom.
Medal of Freedom. For what? I'm trying to find out what did he say that was actually good.
Maybe some
This dude
disparaging.
used the this dude you literally used the Bible to tell lies. And there's Christian channels that paid homage to this bitch. But yeah. I mean, me not liking them or whatever, not losing me in the subscription, that probably didn't affect them that much. But it's just like, nah, I'm good. Whether it affects you or not, I don't have to. You're not gonna get none of my patronage. All right. What else you got? All right, people. We did it. We got through Charlie Kirk. We got through Bud Crawford. We got through Canelo getting beat like a literal redheaded stepchild because he's actually redheaded. This is a good weekend. This is a good weekend. I did not give any thoughts or anything on the Charlie Kirk thing because I didn't want to wait for the podcast to put anything out. So when this drops, you'll get what we thought. And what's your parting shot?
My parting shot is that Jacksonville needs to stop blowing this shit. Like, it seemed like our kryptonite is backup quarterbacks because we can't seem to beat backup quarterbacks for nothing. It's like Joe Burrow wasn't having a good game. He got turf toe, and we lost to the backup. They started losing people on defense left and right, and we lost to the backup. We got to do better. That's my parting shot.
My parting shot is rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. Yeah, y'all thought I was gonna say Charlie Kirk. Ricky Hatton is one of the great British boxers of all time. Got beat up by Mayweather, got beat up by Pacquiao. Those are the things that he's probably been most noted for because of how his career ended. But the man was 33-0 before he fought Floyd, beat Costa amongst many other great champions. Was one of the best fighters at the 140-pound division. He was a solid dude. I think he was training someone at the same time, or I think he was being a trainer for somebody. Was it Tyson Fury? I don't remember, but he was in somebody's training camp being a trainer. But from what I've heard, he was a good dude. He just liked to drink a lot of beer. But I hope I wish his family well. Rest in peace to the great Ricky Hatton. They found him passed away in his home at the young age of 46 years old. So rest in peace, Ricky Hatton. You will be missed, I'm sure, from your family and friends and close ones. And that has been the Between Brothers podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. We'll see you next week.